So oh, this lesson is being recorded. Today is Friday. What date are we today, Ivancho?
Let me check real quick. The 4th of
December.
December. Yes.
Now, as you can see, how many people present on Friday. These are Alex, Nicole, Gergana, Monica, Nikolai, Maria, Ivan, Preslava, Iskra, Elitsa. So these people are present. And today we will continue. We are studying our lesson on page. I'm going to screen share. Don't worry, today will be no interruptions, and not only today. So I fixed the problem, and we will have all the opportunities with things. Yes. So we are going, you can see now the screen. Christina is joining us. Yes. So can you see the screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Good. We are on page 22 and we are studying Unit 7, Module Oral Communication. So we did the previous time on Tuesday, exercise number 1. And Alex, we were talking about different social issues. What were they?
Um,
Please tell me.
just
If
a
not, you
second.
can screen. Yes.
Oh, I don't really remember. Which page was that?
Yes, it was a long time ago. Page 22.
Oh, what's that? Just let me open it up.
One of the movies. Okay, if you're searching, maybe Preslava, you will
Oh
answer.
yeah. The racism, poverty, environmental concerns, youth crime, illiteracy, homelessness.
Yeah. And I prepared the previous time, and I told you, but I couldn't show because of the connection. Now everything will be okay. This was about the illiteracy. Illiteracy. Now, once again, you will look through this text, what I found on the internet. I don't think that we can believe it 100%, but whatever, you see. So, Preslava, will you express, please, your opinion on this illiteracy and what is written here? You can see it on the board.
Pardon my quick interruption. Which page exactly was this?
22.
22.
Yes.
22. In which book?
Illiteracy. Are you surprised? What are your feelings? Do you think that you can believe what is written here? Preslava.
Well, just give me a second to process what I'm looking at. Um, well, I think it is believable that people in 1820, only 12% of people were able to write and read and were literate overall. And well, overall, this information seems believable and credible.
Believable and credible.
Yeah. I mean,
But you
fair
yes.
enough.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit more people are literate now, let's say like 90%. But
Yeah, because there are, Preslava, do you know that there are different kinds of illiteracy?
well, yeah, there are ones that can't write, there are ones that can read, I guess. If that is different.
Now let's watch here this video for 3 minutes, and then you will tell me, please, about illiteracy. Let's watch this video here. I'm going to share. So I think only three, maximum 3 minutes. I'm not.
A 2014 report by UNESCO found that more than 780 million adults around the world could neither read nor write. That's 1 out of every 10 people, with more than half of that figure comprised by women. Although literacy has always been vital within most societies, the modern focus on technology over manual labor has left few options available to those who've never learned to read or write. So what are the world's most illiterate countries? Well, first of all, it's important to note that not all illiteracy is the same. Some people are unable to read or write at all in any language. Others are able to construct and read simple sentences, but are unable to deal with everyday literacy beyond a basic, limited vocabulary. This is known as functional illiteracy and is considerably more prevalent. In the US alone, 30 million adults are functionally illiterate, meaning they cannot read above the level of a 10-year-old. Another 60 million have below average literacy rates and are unable to understand a basic newspaper. And there are severe correlations between illiteracy and success. The Department of Justice notes that the link between academic failure and delinquency, violence, and crime is welded to reading failure. Nearly 3/4 of US prisoners are functionally illiterate. But around the world, true illiteracy is an endemic problem. 75% of illiterate adults can be found in just 10 countries. However, within those large countries, illiterates make up a smaller percentage than in countries with more severe generational poverty. In at least a dozen countries, primarily in sub-Saharan Africa, more than half of the population is truly illiterate. South Sudan is currently the most illiterate country in the world, with barely 1 in 4 people able to read at all. In fact, nearly 3/4 of South Sudanese children have never even stepped foot in a classroom. Of those that do attend primary school, fewer than 10% finish. Literacy is vital to a country's success, primarily because of its effect on human capital, or how much economic output a person can achieve. Those who are illiterate are severely disadvantaged. Illiterate people are much harder to train for jobs, and they have more difficulty finding healthcare options and social services. On the other hand, nations with high literacy rates have been found to directly correlate with modernization, development, and economic growth. But for many, illiteracy is a self-perpetuating cycle. In impoverished countries, residents must focus the majority of their attention on survival and how to feed, shelter, and clothe themselves and their families. Although education is a vital tool, few have the available resources, ability, or time to learn how to read and write. Countries with low literacy rates, like Somalia or Afghanistan, are often underdeveloped with extremely high maternal mortality rates. And across the board, women are further disenfranchised, with 2/3 of illiterate adults around the world comprised of women. Although literacy rates are rising overall, in part thanks to initiatives like UNESCO's Literacy Initiative for Empowerment, education is still scarce in areas like South and West Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. Oftentimes, education is seen as a threat to totalitarian governments, leading to brain drain, executions of intellectuals, and book burnings. Check out this Seeker Daily video to learn about the Nazis' book burning raids.
The book burning ceremonies took place on May 10th, 1933, and it was students who took the lead in organising the mass event. Just a month earlier, the German Student Union, which was heavily influenced by Nazis at the time, had announced a campaign against the un-German spirit, a month-long propaganda effort that would culminate in what was referred to as a cleansing of literary works.
Thanks for watching TestTube. Make sure to like and subscribe. We put out new videos every day.
Okay, we're not going to subscribe. Maybe it was a little bit detailed, but will you please tell me on this video, what about that functional illiteracy? Because we say you are illiterate, he is illiterate, she is illiterate, but what about that functional illiteracy that she mentioned in the video?
Well, functional illiteracy is more common, and
Yeah.
it is basically being unable to read above the level of a 10-year-old, so to say. And
Yeah.
most, they said US prisoners were illiterate, or like 10% of them or something. And also, there is truly illiterate people, which, in the grand scheme of things, they're a minority, but in, let's say, African countries, they're the majority of people. The
Yeah.
most illiterate country was South Sudan, with I remember that three-quarters of kids haven't stepped foot in school, and only a minority actually graduated from there. And 3 out of 4, which is 3/4 of people, were able to read.
Right.
So
Great. Because illiteracy, as we wrote here in our words, Maria, do you remember about the words here? You can see it on the board. What illiteracy is? What is the definition here? Illiteracy is?
The complete lack of reading and writing skills.
So it appears that it is not only complete lack of reading and writing, but as we watched it, and I do support that film, there are different kinds of illiteracy. And as Preslava says correctly, functional illiteracy is broader, right? Is broader. Okay, good, thank you. Now, next issue that we studied in this, Ivanshu, you are extremely silent today. Usually you are not. Yes. Ivanshu?
Yeah, well, yes, I heard you. I apologize for being extremely silent. I just haven't seen an opportunity to speak yet.
Okay, you will be given this opportunity. So
Oh,
the
thank you very
second, yes, in exercise one, I know that we did two, homelessness. Do you remember any facts about how many people? Well, if you don't remember, once again, you can refresh your memory. All right.
It was a
And we were,
long time ago.
yeah, a long time
True,
ago for
true.
you, Alex, like on Tuesday only.
Yeah.
And I was asking, I asked you about homelessness in Bulgaria.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, what did you answer? It was a
Look,
long
I
time ago,
answered.
I don't remember. Ivanshu, what did you answer?
I answered that compared to the other issues we listed at the time, shall we say, poverty, that it is medium sized. As in, I don't believe it's a major issue in Bulgaria, homelessness, but I
You
don't believe
don't
it's a
believe it.
small one.
You don't believe it. Who supports Ivanshu?
I support him. I do believe that in Bulgaria there are bigger problems than homelessness, and that there aren't that many people that are homeless.
All right. So
We're living in Europe. You know, we aren't in a civil war, and there is nothing that wrong with the country. If we, you know.
okay. So we are talking about homelessness, and then we will include here poverty. Now, maybe your mind will be changed if very quick this one. It is called The Other Side of Sofia. Again, approximately 2.5, 3 minutes. Sorry, maybe a lot, but The Other Side of Sofia. This is magazine 79. Don't, the year is not 79. So the year is 2010. What about The Other Side of Sofia? I'm sorry, there is no sound. Only my dog is barking in the background.
Каква е това? Да се понасят с нас майтапи се правят. Не е хубаво това, чето, не. Ние сега къде ще живееме?
Do you want me to stop it because you understood the idea?
Yes, we understand.
Not that you understood, but you got the idea. I'm sorry because we have a lot to do. So this is the other side of Sofia, about the same Bulgarians as you. Now, Nikolai, what will you say?
I'll say the same thing that I said, but I'll add something. Not to sound racist or something, but a lot of the gypsies in Bulgaria are illiterate. That's the problem. They can they can if they were literate, they could easily find a job, or they can, even when they are not literate, to be they can become cleaners or something, and they can earn money and they can live in legally built houses, because as we saw, 70 illegally built houses were destroyed, and you know, they were not supposed to be there. So I don't know what else to say. I think the biggest problem with especially gypsies in Bulgaria is not their you know, not that they're homeless, but because, you know, the problem is that they're illiterate. That's the problem. Not that.
So you mean
Highly
if they're
agree.
illiterate, that's why they are homeless and that's why they are poor.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
because of illiteracy. Yes, because they most of them go to school till 3rd or 4th grade and they stop there, or even, you know, they even don't go to school. Some of them. So yeah, that's the problem. And yeah, that's what
Okay.
what I
Well,
think.
but I think that this is a little bit more complicated thing, right? They need to be literate, but most of them drop out of school and go do jobs like being a cashier or something because of their illiterate parents. And actually, it's somewhat their parents' fault that their parents are illiterate, that it goes along in the generations because they want to survive. So, you know, it's a little bit complicated, and I don't think that it's that
Well,
easy to solve.
such cases do exist. However, the vast majority
This is
drop out
all
of
of the
school.
cases. They drop out
No,
of
the
school
vast
to go to work because they
No,
the,
want
they
to earn
the
money.
vast
you know, a lot
majority
of them
drop
go.
out on their own free
Yet,
will.
and they go stealing. You know, they do
I
not
mean,
drop out of
that's
school because they
still,
want to work.
well, it's not because they want to work, but they want to survive. Let me reformulate that thing, because they want to survive, and they just, I guess that's their solution to the problem.
They just don't
I
You
mean, they
understand.
can,
don't know better. They don't know better. That's all they've seen, you know, in
because
the
they are not
places they
literate.
live.
Because they are not literate.
But
They
I
don't go
mean,
to school.
Yes.
yeah, but if you grew up around people like that, you would turn out the same. You need a lot of willpower to be different, you know?
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
you
but that way the rabbit hole goes forever. We can blame the parents of their parents that are the
Yeah,
problem, and then
exactly.
you
Yeah.
that's not really justification for crime.
yeah, that's
I'm
not
not
justification.
justifying it. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that the problem isn't only in these children that and people that are illiterate, you know?
I'm just saying if they thought more about their future, this wouldn't happen.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you for the discussion, but we will continue. So, illiteracy, homelessness, poverty. Now, two more here that we studied, well, not studied, we touched only about youth crime and environmental concerns. Well, the definition of youth crime, Maria, do you remember? Well, why am I asking Maria? It can be Girgana, it can be Monica. Well, here, the definition of youth crime. Here, you can see it at the bottom of my screen. Monica.
Should I read it? Oh, no, Monica.
Illegal activities committed by underage people.
Underage people. What do you mean, Iskra? Can you please elaborate more about underage people? What are these people? Up to what and what years of age?
People in Bulgaria, people under 18 years. In the USA, under 21 years.
Under 21, they are called
Yes.
underage. Yes.
Underage, yes.
Underage. So, and of course, this is a global program too. I haven't found any interesting videos on YouTube. Not that the previous ones were extremely interesting, but whatever. And we have one more issue here, environmental concerns. Who remembers from the previous lesson, Alex, probably you, because you have an excellent memory, what environmental issues we were talking about? Like we were pointing out, we were not talking about them, we were pointing them out. If you do not remember, this screen will help you.
Well, basically, a lot of people cannot buy, cannot afford basic needs for food and everything. Oh, wait.
And in your opinion, what's the biggest environmental problem? Well,
Probably the pollution, in my opinion, because
you
a
think
lot
the
of people
pollution?
can prevent it. Yeah.
Well, Girgana, your opinion? the biggest environmental problem, the biggest environmental issue? Girgana? Girgana, you are not muted, so you can answer. Are you there, Girgana? Girgana is not answering, probably not there, but unfortunately this lesson is being recorded. Ivancho, in your opinion?
Well, if it comes down to environmental issues, I would probably agree with Alex. Since if we consider like other environmental issues like global warming currently is not having an incredibly serious effect on us, and chances are it will not for a long time. We have time to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also water pollution.
Yeah,
said
water
it?
pollution. Alex said it again.
Alex, thank you very much.
Добавя, защото много хора, like a lot of people, they're actually, you know, the petrols and everything, it goes to the ocean, and that's just not good. A lot of species, like they disappeared because of the pollution, and that sucks.
Well, I do agree with you, and I think so too, because I found the following one that you can watch it now.
No, okay.
Exactly. Again, we will not watch the whole film, of course.
Yeah.
I do support you in this. I think that the main problem is water. Well, lack of water pollution. So this is the last video. I don't want to fill you in with a lot of videos because this is not the learning of the language. Maybe discussion, yeah, but not the exact learning. Now let's watch maybe only the beginning. It will be the last one. So I am screen sharing, right? Yes, I am. You can see it, right? Yeah, okay. Well, a little bit slow to start. Here we go.
The biggest environmental problem people don't know about. Well, a lot of people are ignoring or choosing to ignore or choosing to disagree with climate change.
I think it's how little water there is actually on the planet. If the Earth was the size of a basketball, if you took, even though we say it's 70% covered with water, if you take all the water off that Earth, it would fit into a ping pong ball. The fresh water is 3% of that ping pong ball, so it's a grain of salt. That's all the fresh water on Earth, and so it has to go in just the right places, in just the right amounts, at just the right time of year, or civilizations get unstable, animals die, growing seasons changed. It's incredibly sensitive, but I think people think that there's an awful lot of water. There's not.
But I would argue that one problem that most people are a bit oblivious to and have their head in the sand is fresh water. And most people just do not connect the dots. They don't see that, hey, my tap is actually connected to a lake or a river or a stream or groundwater. They think
okay. So a recap, very quick, Maria, of a few words that a few sentences that you heard.
I can't say it word by word, but
of course not.
People don't think that their water is, it's only 3% fresh water that we can use, and most of it is just water that we can, drink. And even if it is made into drinking water, it takes a lot of money. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's the idea, that very little of it is drinkable, and that is a problem because we pollute a lot of it.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. And so these were the environmental concerns. Now we are doing exercise 2 very quickly, filling in prepositions. Who would like to do it?
Can I do it?
Who is this? Iskra?
Yes.
Iskra, yes. We are doing exercise number 2.
We win extreme, challenging nature of developing temporary.
Yeah, but don't be in a hurry. Just a minute, because Ivancho, he will ask what page are we? Exercise number 3. But did we do exercise number 2? I don't remember.
No, we didn't.
We're currently, as far as I heard,
That's
we're
why
doing that.
at first Nikolai, we are going to do exercise number 2, and Iskra, you will continue with exercise number 3.
Can I do exercise 2? Because
Ah,
I'm
you
not
want to
sure
do
about.
Iskra. Iskra is extremely active, and she has been active lately. Yes, then I'm sorry, but some other people must have their chance to participate. Elitsa, exercise number 2. Elitsa.
Okay, 98 of the world's illiterate population lives in developing countries.
Developing countries.
Yes.
Okay.
Nearly a third of the people in the world live in extreme poverty. The world's natural resources like gas might run out by the end of this century. Homeless shelters offer temporary accommodation. Reducing
Temporary, yes, okay. Okay.
beyond crime is a challenging task.
Reducing youth crime is a challenging task. One question, Prislava, how can we reduce youth crime? Is it possible?
Well,
I think only, for me, it's only prevention.
Well, I don't think it is possible because most of youth crime is committed by people that are not, psychologically stable.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe one thing that might help them, but also is proven to not work, is seeing a specialist and maybe talking with the specialist. But besides that, I don't think that there is much to do.
I believe I know what could be done.
Yes, Ivancho, you are the future president, so you must know the answers to all the questions.
Thank you very much. No, I've had time to think about things like this, but yeah, I mean, mainly I've reached the conclusion that many teenagers do it under certain influences, shall I say. Like per se, in many cases, it turns out, especially in America, that it's due to the negative influence of alcohol and drugs, which is why I believe that there should be naturally, how should I say, at least limitations, or there's also, I mean, naturally many people would propose a drug ban, but I don't believe banning something necessarily gets rid of it. I'd say more of there is, they actually tried a program in more in Western European countries that is, supposed to be treating people that have gotten addiction to drugs. And this is supposed to be more of a program where you come out that you have taken drugs and you're not legally charged, like even if the drugs are illegal, just so you could be treated, so can no longer be dependent on them. And these substances usually have led to, how shall I say, erratic behavior, erratic emotions. The average teenager enters states of depression and anger if he is under the influence of a lot of alcohol or frequent uses of drugs, even if it's in minor doses. And in other cases, also, I believe that the education system is not doing much to uphold morals within society. Nowadays, crime by some people is seen as in somewhat of a cool thing to do. How shall I say? Some teenagers believe it more of a resource or a method of making their way through life instead of a repulsive practice that harms other people. That's the main issue here. I mean, in education, the issue is way more complicated because naturally you cannot just tell a teacher, tell the children that crime is bad because they already do that. Like this is more of
You're right,
yes.
right. Okay, good. Thank you.
That's it.
Yes. Thank you, Ivan, very, very much. Now, please, Iskra, will you do exercise number 3?
Filling against 2-4 on the number of people living on the streets is on the rise. Millions of people.
On the rise, yes, this is a phrase. You can write them down. On the rise, on the rise. If you don't know this, good. Iskra?
Yes, millions of people on Earth don't have access to clean water.
To have access to. Okay.
The presidential candidate has promised to fight against poverty.
To fight against poverty.
We shouldn't take it for granted that everyone in the world enjoys the same rights and privileges as us.
Privileges as us. to take something for granted. Fine, thanks. Now we are going to study. Our next topic is about stylistic figures. So here you have the theory, but of course we will begin like this. The first, we are going to study the following stylistic figures. Will you please write them down in your notebooks? The first stylistic figure is called tautology. Probably this you know what it is. The second is hypophora, or another pronunciation, hypophora. This probably, Maria, you have never heard about it. Have you? Hypophora.
Yes, but
You know what it is?
familiar with it.
Sorry, you studied it in Bulgarian?
No, I heard of it, but I'm not very familiar with it.
You're not familiar, fine. Ellipsis and rhetorical question. So only probably the second one is not known to you, but we will begin with the first one. What tautology is? You can write it down quickly in your notebooks, but otherwise, Christina, let's read what tautology is, if you can see the screen.
The saying of the same thing twice over in different words, generally considered to be a fault of style.
And for example?
They arrived one after the other in succession.
In succession. So you see, they arrived one after, in succession. This is tautology 2. It is called tautology. One after and in succession. Here I have, I don't have any more examples, so this is only the first example. Now, Maria, if it was not known, hypophora, you will please read what hypophora is.
Hypophora is a figure of speech in which a writer raises a question and then immediately provides an answer to that question.
I think hypophora, this is a teacher. A teacher usually asks a question and then immediately provides an answer to that question. Not every teacher, and of course not with such lovely, intelligent and thinking students as you are, but this is hypophora. And in your words, Elitsa, what hypophora is? If I ask you, what is hypophora, what will you answer?
Oh, well, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe asking a question and then answer to this question.
Yes, you ask a question and then you immediately answer this question.
Yes,
and, yeah, and this is a figure of speech. And here we have some examples from different literary texts. A Christmas Memory by Truman Capote. Preslava?
Should I read it?
Yes. This is an
Okay.
example.
31 cakes dampened with whiskey, back on windowsills and shelves.
Basque, not back. Basque.
Oh, Basque, yeah. Friends, not necessarily neighbor friends. Indeed, the larger share is intended for persons we've met maybe once, perhaps not at all. People who struck our fancy, like President Roosevelt.
Yes.
Roosevelt? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
So you ask, who are they? And you answer immediately. Who are they for? Friends. This is hypophora. You ask and you answer. Another example. Let's see who is here. Swobodan, can you read it? Can you see it? Swobodan.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, can you read it? This is just for the record, you see, because the meeting is being recorded. This is just for the record how you participate. So will you please read it?
What should young people do with their lives today? Many things, obviously, but the most during this is to create stable communities in which the terrible disease of lone lives can be cured.
Yes, what should young people do with their lives today? Rhetorical question, but immediately answered. And the figure of speech is hypophora. By the way, Ivancho, what should young people do with their lives today?
Well, most people, young people, I believe, should first of all stop for a second. And I believe one of the most useful things is thinking. Many people think, while doing something, but you need to sit down and actively spare like 2, 3 minutes of your day just sitting there thinking, or if you can, more about your future. Because in certain cases, I'd say that like most of your dreams, even the most ambitious ones, can be accomplished if you simply create a good enough plan. You need to know in what direction you're doing. You need you need education. Like you have to study hard, especially when you enter college. Like you need to be prepared to put in work, put in dreams, and put in a certain amount of thought. And I
Right.
believe those are the recipes for a successful future.
Thank you. Thank you. Now,
No problem.
someone disappeared from here. Alex, you are here because I couldn't see you. Alex, Gergana, Nicole. Yes. Now, Alex, ellipsis, because we have 2 minutes to finish our lesson, and that's why we are in a hurry. Alex, what ellipsis is?
Ellipsis is a grammatical term and as such is used in two main ways. The first way is when it is a written symbol that appears as a sequence of dots, usually three. They will indicate that parts of a word or sentence have been omitted. These are called ellipsis points.
Okay, 3 dots, ellipsis point, but this is
Yeah.
not all. And number 2?
Number 2 is the use of ellipsis can also be more stylistic. This is when a word or phrase is left out or omitted from a sentence. The words omitted may be necessary to make a sentence syntactically correct, but they are not necessary for a reader to fully understand the sentence meaning.
See, when a word or phrase is left out. And here are some stylistic examples. In the baseball game, our team scored 4 home runs. The other team only 2. So here it is written that the words home runs is left out of the second part of the sentence. But the sentence remains complete because the context makes it clear that the author is referring to home runs. You see, one word is out, but you feel that the sentence is complete. Maybe, yes. So, do you understand what ellipsis is? Preslava, will you please? Yes. Preslava. Preslava.
Oh God, I was talking without being unmuted.
So it's good that you noticed it. So what
Yeah.
about ellipses? There are 2 kinds of ellipses, right?
Yeah.
About 3 dots, it is quite clear. But what about the stylistic ellipsis?
Well, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wait, give me a second because I was explaining the other one. Well, you don't need. You could miss out a word and your sentence will still make sense.
Yes, exactly.
That's basically it.
Okay. So thank you very much. We will have to stop. I will post not a lot. I will upload to Google Classroom homework for Tuesday. But for Monday, you have your yellow books. All right. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you. Bye.
And bye. Goodbye.
Thank
Have a nice
you.
day.
Goodbye, teacher.
Thank you very much. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.